But his little spying session was quickly discovered. I'm afraid you're in for a disappointment. Our Lord's words are never wrong. Just like he said, the culprit would show up, hiding somewhere nearby. Masked Man saw things were going south and tried to make a run for it. But Lakis wasn't about to let him escape. The two quickly clashed. To Masked Man's shock, his opponent was overwhelming him with sheer brute force. Meanwhile, Masked Man spotted an opening, a chance to land a critical hit. He unleashed his deadliest attack, but Lakis only stumbled back a couple of steps. Masked Man was stunned. His attack hadn't even scratched Lakis. Lakis retaliated with a powerful slash. With strength like that, you dare trespass on Calibia territory? Seeing the attack hurtling towards him, the Masked Man reacted instantly, raising his arms in defense. But he was no match for Lakis's brute strength. Sent flying through the air, he'd never even heard of a security captain like this in Caribia. Lakis's overwhelming power stemmed from a unique characteristic he possessed. When facing an opponent deemed a villain, his sense of order and justice pushed his physical abilities to their absolute limit. Surrender now, Lakis boomed. You can't possibly defeat me. Acknowledging Lakis's strength, the Masked Man decided a strategic retreat was in order. Lakis, of course, wouldn't allow it, but the Masked Man just smirked, telling him not to be so impatient. They would meet again soon. We'll settle the score another day. A fight to the death even. Around the Masked Man, thick smoke filled the guest room. As the smoke cleared, he vanished without a trace. 2.5 days later, I was teaching Maya how to cultivate magic power. One method involved using simple visualization to condense magic. The other, more difficult method was forced condensation. Maya had a question. If the results are the same, she asked, why not just learn the easiest way? It was a classic question, one every beginner asks. So I explained, but what if the evil magic draws surrounding magic power? If they burn out completely, the association will fail, making it impossible to gather mana. On the other hand, forcefully condensing the law isn't affected at all. So, no matter how difficult, you must cultivate both simultaneously. Maya understood, but he didn't understand why I suddenly put on this strange outfit. To create an atmosphere, of course, I feel it will help you comprehend better. For the next 2 weeks, I used the loophole in my room every day to improve my own strength. Although each day, I could increase my mana by 2 or 3 points, I knew that true expert players, they pave their own path using shortcuts. So, I combined the loophole's cultivation technique with a mage's mental cultivation method. From this, I created my own unique cultivation technique. This technique increases my magic power by 6 points each use, and I even gave it a name, the Super Awesome Dragon Ascending to Heaven Cultivation Technique. Just then, Isabella suddenly appeared. I've seen countless mages in my time, but this is a first. Your cultivation method is unlike anything I've ever seen. The rate at which you absorb magic power, it's so outrageous, it's practically cheating. You're definitely not from around here. Hearing those words, my heart leaped into my throat. I thought my secret, being a Chanyadra, was exposed. So Isabella thinks that I might be from another continent. She said she'd heard stories years ago about the Eastern continent, legends of people with incredible magic absorption abilities. Then I played along with Isabella's theory. Now that you mention it, I remember stories from my own ancestors. There were definitely some mysterious tales like that, but I don't know anything about the Eastern continent. It was supposed to be in Paradiso's next update, something the developers spent 5 years planning. 5 years of work, and it never even launched before. I died and got stuck in this damn game. Suddenly, Isabella caressed my face and said something strange. You've piqued my interest, she said. I think I'll be a little nicer to you. After all, you're the only one who can see my mark. I firmly replied, I'll never return the insight. It's mine now. Suddenly, Isabella dropped the act. After seeing you shrink into a pouch, I decided against taking it back. Consider it a gift, a wedding present for my future husband. As she transformed, I was completely dumbfounded. What? You, a spirit, are hitting on me? Were you doing indecent things to me while I was asleep? Isabella didn't answer, but her silence spoke volumes. I could practically guess her answer. Hey, I died a virgin, you know, a pure and innocent soul, destined to be your soulmate. What's so bad about it? Right now, I'm just completely speechless. Happy my ass. Did I even agree to this? I immediately bolted for the door. I need to go to Ranala territory. Later, Gotta run. But little did I know, on the way to Ronello with Haseo, we'd be ambushed by unknown forces. Anyone who's been fat knows. A skinny fat guy is a diamond in the rough. But no one ever said, getting handsome attracts not just ghosts, but even guys too. After developing a cure for the incurable disease, the first thing I did was head for Ronella territory, because that place is practically ground zero for the disease. Basically, over 80% of people suffer from Ronella syndrome. But suddenly, the carriage carrying Hayes and me was attacked out of nowhere. Luckily, I reacted quickly and immediately cast a defensive fire spell. At the same time, a storm of sword-shaped projectiles rained down on us. I quickly extended the defensive magic to cover the entire carriage. Judging by the situation, it seemed to be bandits. But if they thought they could defeat me with these swords, they were sorely mistaken. I jumped out of the carriage, ready to personally confront these reckless fools, these desperate outlaws. Isabella tried to help, but I flatly refused. With my left hand, I cast a defensive spell. My right hand thrust forward, channeling offensive magic. Leading the charge was a masked man wielding a giant axe. His name is Teak. Besides the occasional robbery, he also takes on mage assassination contracts. And the one who hired him to attack me was the same masked man from Caribia, the one who unleashed those deadly monsters. So, he was after the formula for my miracle potion. He figured if he got his hands on the ingredients, he could make a fortune. He also deduced from my mass production of the potion that I would eventually travel to the Lonella territory. That's why he had Teak lay in wait for days, ambushing me. And in the next moment, Teak launched his devastating attack. With the new recruits arriving, he was ready to show off how to hunt a mage. Teak began to spin, moving in a circular pattern. This was his signature move, the spinning death, boasting a 100% success rate. Suddenly, he hurled his massive axe with a whistling whoosh. I reacted instantly, casting a quick spell. With a sidestep and a tilt of my head, I dodged it easily. I figured it was a feint, a deceptive attack. But I never expected that as I prepared to launch my magic missile, in the next second, it would be dispersed by another weapon in Teak's hand, shattered before it could even form. "Don't try to trick me," he roared. And then he swung a club, aiming a vicious blow at the back of my head. But the sound that followed wasn't the crunch of bone, but like fragile glass. That's right, when Took's club was less than 0.0000001 millimeters away. I blocked it with my defensive magic. Seems your specialty of killing mages is nothing special. Feeling the sting of my mockery, Took burned with rage. He unleashed a flurry of blows, aiming for every vital point on my body. But I anticipated every single strike, blocking each one in time. Captain Took realized I was no ordinary opponent. The speed of my magic alone told him I was at least a level 4 mage, or higher. But Took wasn't worried. He still had the upper hand. After all, mages always run out of mana. Now all he had to do was keep attacking. But just as that thought crossed Tokei's mind, the next second, I completely shut down his attack. I cast another spell, boosting my physical strength. It was just enough, because his weapon, a mage's weapon no less. Well, I'll just be taking that. Meanwhile, I secretly slipped a paralysis spell into Tokei. In his current state, he couldn't even beat a 3-year-old. Not a chance. Tokei, terrified for his life, blurted out. It was a guy with a mask and purple hair. He hired me. Just spare me, and I'll tell you everything I know about him. Hearing this, I smiled, my eyes narrowed. This was getting interesting. I'd really love to hear him out, but I'm having a little trouble trusting a bandit's word, saying he'll toss me down with one swing, and I'll never, from causing further harm. As for what to do next, naturally, it's to wipe out this bandit group hiding in his territory. Little did I know, after dealing with this trouble, I would have an unexpected harvest. From the bandit group, I rescued a child named Arkins. Although he's just a merchant now, in the future, he'll become a big shot, the head of the largest arms dealer in the East. All thanks to his exceptional forecasting and trend analysis skills. I couldn't believe I'd run into him near Calubia's territory, near Caleb's territory. So, therefore, I decided to offer Arkins a partnership. I'd have him sell the goods I planned to sell in Ronella's territory, and promised him a 15% share of the profits. Naturally, besides increasing his goodwill through trade, my goal was to recruit him to my team later on, to recruit him into my ranks in the future. But after 2.5 minutes of silent contemplation, Arkins surprised me. He said he didn't need a single penny of the profit, as long as I agreed to 2 requests. I agreed, but I kindly warned him that I'd refuse outright if the requests were too outrageous. To my surprise, Arkansas's first request was indeed odd. Well, just a tiny bit unsettling. He asked me to call him Arky. Suddenly, ISA stormed in, furious, practically spitting fire. She wanted to tear apart the man who dared to flirt with hers. As for the second request, Arkins decided to tell me later. Cut to us arriving safely at Ronella's territory. And with Arky's guidance, we quickly found a good spot. I thanked him for his help, but Arky said it was to repay me for saving his life. Just a small token of gratitude. Now the giant mushroom in view is the raw material for the special medicine I plan to sell. Next, with a touch of my herbalism skills, it will become the cure for Ronella's disease. The reason I'm making it 1 bottle at a time is because this skill levels up with proficiency. The only downside is the daily limit on proficiency gain, but this limitation also has a little-known loophole. Soon, I spotted someone with Ronella's disease. I quickly had Arky make his sales pitch. Just 1 gold coin a bottle. The man hesitated. He was skeptical, but knowing he was on death's door, even if it was a scam, losing 1 gold coin was nothing to worry about. After receiving confirmation of the man's intent to buy, Aldrin retrieved the item I requested. It was a contract granting full ownership of this miracle cure to the buyer, though a sense of unease washed over him. The man agreed and signed his name. He then drank the potion. As for its effects, I told him to wait about 30 minutes. If there wasn't any improvement whatsoever, he could demand a refund of 1,000 gold coins, plus interest. After the man left, Aldrin began his preparations for opening the shop. Meanwhile, I leveled up my herbalism skill to level 3. I also maxed out my proficiency gain. Now, the contract could fulfill its true purpose. The moment ownership was transferred, all related data on the potion would transfer as well. In other words, the 24-hour limitation on me was now transferred to that man's status. But little did we know, 2.5 hours later, the ground beneath me began to shake violently. At first, I thought it was an earthquake, but then, thanks to Hayes' warning, I realized what it truly was. It was Aldrin and the customer he brought in. The commotion. I was about to offer Hayes a gold coin for his troubles, but Aldrin immediately offered a special price. He said we'd sell him a bottle for just 39 gold coins. That was a full 61 gold coins cheaper than the Edema Empire's price. He added if he ever needed more, he should be sure to visit the Calivia territory. Apparently, Calivia lacked hunters, meaning plenty of monsters to hunt, buy potions, and earn some extra cash on the side. What a deal! Later that night, time quickly passed. Today's profit from the miracle cure was 12,250 gold coins. Converted to my previous life's currency, that's 1.22 billion soft magic. Monster Hunter money was truly something else. Just then, Aldrin approached me. He came to collect the rest of his payment. Hearing that, I remembered I did owe him a favor. But surprisingly, my earlier thought unexpectedly aligned with Aldrin's. I want to become a retainer for Calibia's directly managed merchant guild. I may only be an inexperienced 18-year-old merchant, but if you can trust me, I promise you, I'll make this the North's greatest merchant guild. And to be frank, I admire you. I'm not one for hiding my feelings. You have the vision to see the potential of Kael'bar, and you understand David's ambition. Welcome aboard. From then on, the Owl Merchant Guild thrived. Meanwhile, using the loophole I found, I raised my herbalism to level 35. The reward for hitting level 30? Automatic production, workflows, blueprints, and the skill to craft ultimate mana potions. For 5,000 gold and 10 Kael'bar magic stones, I built an auto-production device. It cranks out 24 potions a day. Each sells for 39 gold. That's over 900 gold profit daily. Pure profit. Kael'bar's magic stone production boomed. Monster attacks decreased. Fewer citizens suffered. And then, merchants from other regions, hearing whispers of potions and platinum, flocked to Kael'bar, seeking a piece of the action. In other words, Kael'bar was flourishing beyond my wildest expectations. The entire continent was taking notice. But economic improvement wasn't enough. I needed to get stronger. Fast. After 2.5 days of rest, I decided to tackle a dungeon. When Isabella heard my target, the Crow, Derek Cashin, her jaw dropped. The Crow is a powerful dark mage. If you fail, your soul will be taken, and you'll become undead. I chuckled. Don't worry. I knew the dungeon like the back of my hand. That was my secret weapon. In Paradiso, during the Holy Demon War, Darikashin gains the Demon King's favor. He breaks free from his seal and is granted an undead body. Every player encountered this event. It was part of the main storyline. Isabella looked at me, suspicious. How do you know so much? Are you a god in disguise? From another world? Before she could finish, "Don't be ridiculous," I interrupted. "That only happens in dreams." At Darikashin's lair, I started searching near the entrance. Isabella was confused. "Shouldn't you be fighting the Lich? Why are you acting like a puppy looking for a buried bone?" Well, her analogy wasn't far off. She was close. I was looking for something I'd hidden in my past life. A loophole. There it is. I suddenly phased through the stone wall. Isabella stared, dumbfounded. "It's a secret passage," I explained quickly. "A shortcut. To reach Darikashin's chamber, you have to climb to the top floor. But the traps are insane. Even I couldn't get through them alone." Before us lay a massive treasure room, filled with countless riches. Darikashin's secret hoard. Quickly, I found the greedy gremlin ring. It looked ordinary, but it was a legendary artifact. A bottomless bag holding infinite items. Isabella was hesitant. "Are we sure about this? Stealing from a lich. Will we be okay?" "It's not stealing," I said. "He murdered for these treasures. We're just righting a few wrongs, avenging his victims." Meanwhile, elsewhere, Darikashin sat on his sealed throne. "Curse this wretched life," he lamented. "Without a vessel, I cannot escape this prison. Once I'm free, I will turn everyone on this continent undead." Suddenly, a large hand slammed down on his head. "Still spouting nonsense, old man? You're practically dead, and still plotting evil?" Darikashin didn't recognize me. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Don't play coy," I scoffed. "I'm here to end you." A blast of fire erupted from my palm. Flames engulfed the lich. It singed him, but that was all. He merely shed a layer of his outer shell. "You insignificant worm, release me if you dare. Face me." The decrepit lich had a disturbing ability. Even burned to a skeleton, he was immortal. His true form was a once mighty lich. Liches had no physical bodies. They achieved immortality by storing their souls in vessels. But Darikashin had lost his vessel. His soul was trapped in a decaying corpse. He was weak. This death would be permanent. I just had to keep my distance, avoid his life-draining magic. It would be easy. After all, I'd done this before. Many times, I peppered him with lightning bolts, kept him at bay with ranged attacks. To Darikashin, my magic was pathetic, weak, utterly insignificant. But the constant barrage, I should be completely drained of magic power. But little did he know, Druck was about to realize something was wrong. He figured I was, at best, a level 3 magician. So how could I possess such immense magical power? And within these inextinguishable flames, he felt it. That utterly repulsive holy power. Druck could only think of one possibility. Double down. His eyes immediately locked onto my finger. There was... That bastard had taken Hypnosis's artifact, the Ring of Hypnosis, the leftover goddess. One of its attributes imbues magic attacks with holy power. And the reason I used what Druck considered trash magic was because I also found something else in the treasury. The Necklace of Gorges, the Great Sage. It allows me to cast level 1 magic without consuming any mana. Using level 1 magic, Consumes no mana. This combo was my go-to tactic in my past life. A relentless barrage of attacks to prevent Druck from casting his spells. I couldn't take him down in one hit, but if I kept pressing my advantage, victory would be mine. Meanwhile, Druck finally had a brainwave. The Nine-Wit finally remembered he had home field advantage. He remembered this was his territory. Immediately, summoned all the Death Knights in the castle. Suddenly, before me stood the undead I'd encountered earlier. But I hadn't expected them in Druck's room. This was unexpected. Was it because Druck hadn't broken the seal? Was that why things were different? Overthinking wouldn't solve anything. It was time for close-quarters combat. I had to finish him off before he could use high-level magic. At the same time, Isabella decided to act. She came to my aid. Her soul charged into one of the stronger-looking Death Knights. Taking perfect control of the skeleton, she effortlessly slaughtered every single one of Druck's Death Knights. Then she turned her blade on Druck. But the arrogant Druck wouldn't stand for such humiliation. He unleashed a high-level spell, blasting it from his hand. It blew away half of Isabella's possessed body she was possessing. As for me, I seized the opportunity. My allies had created an opening. A wholly infused lightning spear, launched with all my might. It caught Druck completely off guard. But it wasn't enough. I gathered my power again and unleashed a thunderbolt. Druck wouldn't be hit again. He refused to suffer another direct hit. He used his home field advantage, creating an endless barrier before him. But in the next second, he'd be terrified. My attack not only pierced his barrier, it hit the exact same spot as the lightning spear. This is my original creation, linked magic. Master physics and chemistry, and you'll conquer the world. Saying you won't get hit again? Don't underestimate me. Then, I gave Druck no time to breathe. Another wholly infused thunderbolt was unleashed. After taking that hit, Druck looked completely lifeless. Just as Isabella thought the fight was over, Druck tried to exploit my approach. He aimed for a surprise attack, while I was unguarded, but I already knew what he was thinking. I saw right through him. So, I whacked him upside the head. I knew you weren't dead yet, but you won't survive this. This is my strongest attack. For the first time, Druck the Crow felt the fear of death. But that fear triggered his final form. It forced it out. Damn it, I'm the invincible Lich. You mere human. You dare push me to the brink of death. In the next second, Druck's body suddenly exploded. He forced me back, then a black aura erupted from him and surged towards me. I quickly cast a defensive spell, successfully blocking it. I could see what he was doing. This wasn't magic. It was pure, magical energy, a desperate burning of his life force. He wanted to see who would die first. But then, my barrier shattered. Isabella acted quickly, using the Death Knight to shield me from the attack. If that had hit me, I'd be, at least crippled. This gave Druck a wake-up call. He needed to eliminate the obstacle. Without a body to possess, Isabella knew she couldn't help anymore. I was on my own. I had to admit, I panicked. Druck's current form and attacks, and his method of attack, were completely new to me. But even so, Druck's basic patterns hadn't changed. I was the top Druck strategist in Paradiso. I knew his attack patterns inside and out. I knew Druck's attack patterns, like the back of my hand. Now, Druck's magic power began spreading around me. But this was just a feint. The real attack was coming from above. As it descended, I quickly dodged back. I easily evaded it. As Druck prepared to launch the same attack again, I teleported. I appeared right in front of him. Seeing my wholly infused, excite magic about to hit him, Druck finally realized he'd been tricked. You lied to me. You said that was your strongest spell. I laughed. And what does that prove? It proves that human intellect is a weapon you liches can never defeat. Now feel the full force of holy power one last time. My strongest attack was unleashed. Druck's body was almost completely consumed by holy power. Only his face remained. Time for some parting words. You, born of darkness, do you know what the future holds? Do you think you can handle it? I waved him off. The future is the future. If anyone gets in my way, I'll just eliminate them. Druck asked, what is your goal? To become the strongest ruler on the continent. The strongest monarch. To Druck, my goal was laughable. A pipe dream. Do you think this is a child's game? You speak of achieving what even the God King and the Demon Lord couldn't. I'll be watching you from hell. I'll see your arrogant self meet a miserable end. With that, he vanished. In his place, a bracelet appeared. This was what I came for. But it was even better than I expected. A true, evolving artifact. This is exactly what I need right now. Meanwhile, Isabella spotted a strange grimoire, a strange magic book on the floor. I picked it up and examined it, but I'd never seen anything like it. I checked its attributes. It could resurrect souls. It could bind spirits and souls to specific bodies. The resurrected being's body and mind would belong to the user. This was perfect for Isabella. Isabella roared, I don't want that. I don't want a master-slave relationship. I want to be your wife, husband and wife. So, I explained, as my slave, you could tie me up and use curse magic on me. I'd simply enjoy it. To